today let's have a little fun little practice here on the mat with some basic Pilates moves and core movements just influenced by Pilates. So if you'll grab a blanket or something to cushion maybe your knees, your tailbone, block and a ball, or none of those items, it's fine. In lieu of a block or ball, you can have a rolled up hand towel or something. It's primarily just for squeezing between the knees. So something that you might have already available, go ahead and grab that. And we will get started. So come on over, and we're going to start here just in a table position. So if you've got your blanket, you want to use that under your knees, go ahead and grab it. And move my stuff up. All right, so hands right underneath the shoulders. And if it bothers your wrists, always feel free to roll up something to place underneath your palms. So if you elevate the palm a little bit, not the fingers, but just the palm, that's going to take some weight and pressure off of your wrist. So that's another great tip to keep your wrist happy. So I want you to start here just by letting your, letting your tail rise, your shoulders roll back, and just soften in the middle. And notice how you get this little dip in your back. And then start to shift your energy as you pull belly up and in, but then starting to really press and lift and round up, pushing the floor away from you, all the way from the tops of your feet to your fingers, to your palms, and then come back down. Inhale, just moving gently through that cat-dog tilt or cat-cow. So exhale and hollow out, round it up. Just starting to get some mobility there through the spine. Inhale and exhale. So let's just take two more here. As we're moving back and forth, we're getting some lubrication in both the hips and the shoulders, and also in the spine. So we're moving, articulating up and down. And exhale, hollow out. Come back to center space. And as you're in that tabletop position, I want you to exhale and start to lift up, round out into your cat stretch. Now shifting as though you're going to shift your rib cage over to the right, and then drop it down, and then bring it back around over to the left and up. It's like you're tracing a barrel, so we call it a barrel roll. Okay, you're just moving in and out of cat-cow, but you're also shifting your weight. So continue here. If you're not sure, I'll show you. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But you're going to start with an exhale by lifting up and rounding, and then shifting over, and then back around and up. So we're keeping the tail pretty steady. I'm really not going to try to shift my hips a whole lot. Okay, so just moving up and around like you're doing a little barrel roll there. Okay, then reverse that situation over to the other side. So we start to the left, pull up and around, back to the left. So we go down to the right, up to the left. Just a few more. If it feels a little uncoordinated or awkward, don't worry about it. Just continue to try to move in that circular pattern through the torso, hollowing and rounding and pulling back down. One more. And then back into center space and pause. From here, continuing to pull belly in and up, taking left leg back, and then reaching right arm forward into that bird dog active reach. Bring it back down. Inhale, taking opposite side, reaching forward, reaching back, and back down. So we're pulling the rib cage in and up, keeping belly drawn towards spine as you're pulling the rib cage in and up. So we've got this transverse abdominals active, those muscles that corset and wrap around your body. And really focusing on your breath. Taking a breath in to prepare, and exhale, execute. Okay, so that execution and that exhale together are going to help to engage your pelvic floor, tone the core muscles, and keep you stable and steady. Continue to reach on the exhale and back down on the inhale. Like it's just a nice fluid movement, like as though you were moving into water. Okay, let's take one more each side. Exhale, reach. And last one. And bring it back down. Go ahead and set yourself back. So your hips moving back toward heels, reaching your arms forward, stretching. take a break and you can bring your hands back by your feet into a full child's pose. Roll those shoulders back, hands by your knees. We'll lift up and then just walk yourself forward and have a seat. So sitting back, finding some way, just sweeping your feet over somewhere and having a seat back. As we roll all the way back, so from your reclining position, take just a moment here, setting feet about hip distance, shoulders pull back and down. So as we begin, just a few basic bridge lifts. I really want you to focus here by pulling your rib cage down, and this will automatically reset your hips. So instead of letting your hips drive this boat by rocking your hips, I want you to pull your ribs in. Automatically, this should kind of reset your hips and keep you in more of a neutral space here. So draw the rib cage down. You should feel these muscles engaging right around your waist, okay, and the connection between rib and hip. So keeping this action without a big tuck, I want you to draw your shoulders back, keep those ribs down, and then just press into your feet and lift the hips up. Take a moment to pause, and then exhale, bring that whole situation back down, that whole unit. All right, inhale. We're going to lift with the inhale on this one. Lift. And then exhale, bring it down. So you're still keeping your ribs and hips kind of connected here. Lifting up. Draw tail slightly under, just so we're keeping a nice long space in that low back. And then exhale, back down. So as you're lifting, I want you to be mindful too. Are you pushing with your feet? Do you feel like you're pushing your head toward the top of your mat? All right, so that would be more quad dominant, meaning the tops of our legs are engaging more and pushing us. So I want you to push into your feet and then pull like you're trying to drive your knees over your toes when you lift. Bring it back down. So it should not physically shift you so much that your knees do go out over your toes. It's just the sensation and engagement now in the back of your body. Bring it back down. Let's do 3 more here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring it down. You're still digging those feet into the floor all the way from your big toe to your heel. And take it up, 2. And back down. Last one. Lifting up. And bring it back down. Very good. And take just a little pause here. So we'll drive the knees toward the chest one at a time. Give them a hug. And then switch. Back to center. So now I want you to take both knees up. Float the knees right over the hips. Draw the rib cage down again. Okay, so as you reach the arms up toward the sky, we're still pulling the ribs in and engaging the girdle space around the waist. Okay? So take a breath in. As you reach the right arm and left leg out, so just reach opposite arm and leg, reach them out. They can be at an angle. And then exhale back to center, right where you started. Switching sides. Inhale, reach. Take it slow, pause. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, reach. Keeping ribs pulled in, pause. Exhale, bring it back. See if you can reach out through that foot. So you're going to straighten the leg, even if it's just more toward the sky than toward the wall. That's okay. Bring it back to center. And if you can go lower, you can take that leg more parallel to the floor. And back up. Going nice and slow. Now I want you to notice if you're feeling any lightness behind your back. We're not smashing the back down, but that may be an indication that you're arching in your back. So I want you to pull your ribs down and then reset and continue. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center. Last 3. Reach. 2. Last 1. And back to center. Very nice. Go ahead and bring those knees in. Give them a nice hug there. Rock it around side to side. And back into that center space. All right, so from here, I want you to take the knees, bring them up over the hips again. Hands right beside your head. Draw the shoulders back and then pull your rib cage in. Go ahead and take your right foot slightly toward the floor here. We're going to lift up and rotate right shoulder to left side into a modified crisscross. You're going to come back up, switch sides. Left foot goes down, cross up and over, back to center. Inhale. Exhale, cross. Good, back to center. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, cross. I want you to try to lift up the shoulders. Lift and then cross yourself up and over. As you continue, you can straighten out that opposite leg rather than tapping it to the floor. Reach. Inhale. Exhale. Good job. We'll take 8 more here. Exhale, come up. Inhale, reset. Exhale. 6. Breathing. Try to keep your low back or sacrum kind of anchored, and you're just rotating side to side from the waist. 4. Good. Last 3. Nice and slow and controlled. Good. Last 2. And 1 more each side. And here we go. Up and over. And then we get to relax just for a moment. Draw the knees in, rest here. So as we stay right where we are, working on reclining twist. Arms out to the sides. I'm going to put a little bend in the elbows, almost like cactus arms. So allowing the shoulder blades to drop back and down more, pulling the ribs back in, float the feet. Now you can always squeeze a block or ball here. So I'm going to squeeze a ball for just a moment. So we're going to squeeze something between the thighs or a rolled up towel. And you're going to float those feet just a little bit, at least even with your knees, maybe higher. We're going to rotate over to one side. Continue to squeeze either the item you have or your knees. So the only way that we want daylight between the legs here is if we have an item there that we're squeezing, and so that allows for a little gap, but we're still engaging. Back to center. Otherwise, your knees are pressing together, your thighs are pressing together, and we're rotating only as deeply as we can with that action included. Okay, so inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale. And exhale. As you can continue to increase this load by straightening the top leg as you twist to one side. So when you twist to the right, you can straighten the left, but squeeze the knees still. Okay? And then we can go back to that other side. So we're increasing part of that lever, increasing the load. This is not an option you have to take. Just continue where you are if that's your preferred level to continue progressing. Here we go. Last 8 total. Here we go. 7. You can continue, both knees bent, one leg straighter, both legs starting to get straighter. 6. 5. Really engage. Squeeze inner thighs. Scoop down on that rib cage just a bit. Last 4. 3. Breathe. 2. Last 1. Back to center. Very nice. Draw the knees in and then rock yourself up into seated. Once you've come into seated, decide if you'd like to have something under your tailbone to give you a little extra cushion, because we'll stay here for a moment. So I'm going to have a couple of extra props. You don't have to use them, just ideas. So whether it's a ball, and a kind of a squishy inflated ball, or a rolled up hand towel, again, works really great for this. I just want you to be able to squeeze something, preferably to give yourself a little more anchor with those inner thighs. Okay, so then we're going to take a block or something that you can hold here. It could be a light hand weight, but I wouldn't go too heavy. Okay, so maybe even just a water bottle. But something that's kind of has a little length to it that we can hold here. So we're going to lift up. We're going to lean back just a bit so we've engaged everything to hold us here. Ribs in. Take that block or reach those hands up over to the left and slightly off to the side. So, or up to the left and over. not just right at center, so just right here. And we're gonna cross it down. So it's just a little seated cross chop. Okay, and down. Inhale, exhale. So you come back close to center, just about even maybe with your forehead. And then as you rotate, you're squeezing those inner thighs, lifting through the chest, but not splitting out the ribs. Last 4, coming up right here on this side. Rotate your shoulders. Show me your chest when you rotate. 3. Working on that rotation. 2. Good. Last 1. Come back to center and just give it a little stretch. Drop those knees out to the side. You can stay here. I'm going to flip just to make it a little easier to see. So once again, seated tall. Squeezing the ball here, not quite at your knees, just a little lower than that knee line. Okay, more into the inner thigh space. Try to anchor your feet if you can. You could even pick up the toes if you want to balance a little more. We're going to lift, pull ribs in, block is up about level with your forehead, and over to your right now. So rotate through the shoulders so the rotation is happening from your waist. There's going to be that little extra reach over with your block or your hands, but I want you to be very mindful that one arm, in this case, we're twisting to the right, so you don't want your left arm to look like it got quite a bit shorter than your right arm. That just means you're reaching across your body rather than twisting. If you wanted to do this completely from seated, you could do this in a chair, still getting the rotation, still getting the work. Squeeze inner thighs. Last 4. 3. Come on, 2. Breathe with me. Blow it out. And 1. And release it. Just drop it down and fold forward. So as we come out on the mat, we're going to do a little side plank lift with a dip. So I want to give you a few options here. Shoulder is back. You're going to make sure that you're not hanging out in the shoulder joint. So take the time to position your arm properly for you. If you tend to have a natural internal rotation, meaning you're a little bit rounded, we'll work on that. But I want you to kind of go with the flow here and let your arm turn in a little. Okay? If you can rotate it back more, I want you to send that hand up a little bit and really engage, and then anchor right over the elbow. Bottom knee can be bent as we lift up. This is your first level. We're going to hold here and then start to drop it down. So if you want to elevate your supporting arm onto an ottoman or something higher, go ahead and do so. Notice that every time I come down, I'm not collapsing in the shoulder. Okay, so there's action there. I'm just dropping and lifting. So continue here or straighten your bottom leg and bring it forward. Okay. Stacking your feet. You can go up and down. This is becoming a little more advanced. So move appropriately to the level that gives you the most challenge, but that you can still maintain control. And last 3, hip dip. 2. Last 1. And go ahead and release it down. We're going to bring it around before we go to the other side. So I want you to bring it around onto hands and knees. And then moving into a tabletop, and then into a plank. So finding your plank position, hold it here, scoop the belly, pull the ribs in, and draw your shoulders back. Now tapping the left foot over to the left side, back to center, and then the right foot to the right side, and back to center. Left to the left, and then right to the right. Now, if you're finding this to be even too challenging today, I want you to just tap it from side to side from tabletop. But try not to go there just because I gave you the option and it feels like it could be easier. Do go there if you're struggling in the other position. All right, so if you're still building strength, follow your body's lead. Okay, but I want you to push yourself to the point that you could do it, but it may not be necessarily as comfortable as you like. Okay, so let's go for 4 more. Starting now. Go 4. And to the other side. Good. 3. 2 more each side. Almost there. 2. Last 1. And woo, we're done there. Press it back, get a great stretch. Bring those arms over the head, stretch it out. Back down, and we go to that side plank hip dip on the other side, all right? So going to the opposite side now for your hip lift. Finding your variation of your plank, okay, side plank. So I want to caution you on that shoulder. Here's something I tend to do, is when I lift up, I kind of rock back a little bit, trying to get the shoulders in alignment. But when I rock the top shoulder back, it kicks the bottom shoulder forward. So you might see that. So I want you to just kind of realign yourself, not like you're rolling too far forward, but you're going to really make sure that this bottom shoulder feels like it is secure in the girdle and not coming forward. Okay, so just another thing to think about there. So once you're ready, hand can go up or on your hip, wherever it's comfortable. We're going to drop the hip, lift the hip, and try not to let this shoulder move horizontal. Okay. So continue here with bent knee or with straight legs, up and down for 8, 7, 6. Do try to bring the hips slightly forward, shoulders back. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Come on, back down. We're going to flip it over again. So as you find your plank, or let's do tabletop first. So I'll show you the first position again. Your hands can be elevated once again. Okay, so if you feel like you need elevation, go ahead, take it. It will take some pressure off of your wrists and shoulders as well. All right, so from your table, I want you to take your right leg back. Bring your right knee and move it towards your tricep. Take it back and release it. Other side, lift, tap it up, release. Right goes up, tap it, and release. Good. Now you can take this same action from a plank position. So holding plank, driving knee toward tricep, stepping it back, and tap. So we're going to go 8 more each side. So for 8, continue, 7, good, 6, scoop the belly in, ribs up and in, 5, knees or toes, you've got this. 4, hands, once again, could be elevated or you could be on your elbows. 3, 2, almost there. Come on, last one each side. And rest. Woo, all right. Shake it out, just shake those wrists out for a second. Give them a nice little massage on the forearm if you like, and you can swing your arms even side to side. Okay, so from here, doing awesome. Okay, let's go ahead. I want you to come over into a tabletop. Okay, so back into your tabletop, we're gonna bring it back up and all the way back into down dog. And as you walk your hands back and find your forward bend. So hands coming up to the thighs. Let's roll it all the way up or come to standing, just nice flat back. Okay, so as you're here, we're going to do a little standing balance core work. Okay, so nothing you haven't seen before, but we're going to give it an extra little shot here. So if you take a block or a ball, once again, this is a nice guide. I like the distance of a block because it keeps my arms about shoulder distance. Okay, so just getting that little feedback here. So do remember that when you twist, we're really heavy on the twist today. So when you're twisting, I want you to be mindful that you're not moving anything else but your shoulders, meaning that you're moving from your waist. So if you take a couple of just standing twists, notice if your hips are going with you as well. Okay, so I want to anchor and then pull the ribs down and then just rotate. Back to center and rotate. If you'll notice, my arms are not moving independently. So there's none of this. Okay, so there's none of that. It's a rotation from the waist. So if I stand sideways, it's a rotation from the waist. My hips are staying level. And I'm just rotating as much as I can from that waist. So I want you to do that while lifting your right leg. So we're going to twist to the right, anchor through the feet, spread the toes wide, Push down into your left big toe. Draw energy all the way up. Set through your core. Let's lift that right leg up and rotate. Back to center. Tap it down. Now, be mindful if you have a mirror or something that you could look into, check yourself out or record yourself, go back later and look at it, because I want you to notice if there's a big movement. It should be really slow, controlled movement. Twisting and then coming back. All right, so good. So lift it up, rotate, and then come back. So without a big shift, meaning if we lift up and then we find ourselves kind of really shifting down, right, we're putting a little more work into it than we need to. I want you to lift up, rotate, bring it down. It's okay if your balance gets off or if you stand near a wall even. Okay. Rotate, back to center. It's helpful to find something not moving so your vision can stay in front of you and your shoulders can still turn. It's like magic. Come back to center. Switch sides. So that cervical spine can stay set while the rest of your spine rotates. It's a beautiful thing. All right, lift the left leg once you've set through your right big toe all the way up that inner leg line. Lift the left leg, balance, and rotate. Back to center, inhale, exhale. Good, nice focus. Once again, you can always just look ahead of you. Find that focal point, let that be your anchor. I'm looking at a water bottle I've got on the floor. So you can look at anything. You can look at a spot, an outlet, a shoe, just something not moving. Probably not your screen. Let's go, last 4. Exhale. Taking these slow, controlled movements really helps us to focus on our balance. Also on the muscles we're engaging, not just going through the motions. Last 2. Lift up, get tall, anchor. Last 1. Beautiful work. All right, back to center. Very nice. Shake that out, please. All right, so you can keep the block, or if you want to swap, I'm just going to use a ball because I like holding it better. Okay, so I'm going to hold this with one hand. It really is not serving any additional purpose other than the fact it gives me something to hold on to, and I like that. All right, so you don't have to hold anything, but you could even use a lightweight if you prefer. All right, so we're going to stand, and you can stand near a wall, so here or behind me, wherever. So you can stand near a wall, and we're going to stand on that right foot as you lean slightly into it, or just lean over to the side holding onto a chair or anything that's beside you, or just free balancing. Okay, taking your left arm up, I'm just angling it just a bit, and we're going to exhale and bring it up for standing side crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. If you want to release any support you have, just test your balance. I am reaching at a diagonal though, so inhale, exhale, inhale, reach, exhale, bring it down. Good. I want you to bring that leg up to about hip height if you can, and your elbow to only about shoulder height, and then you meet in the middle by crunching it on the side. All right, so 3 more standing like this. That knee of the standing leg is softly bent, so we don't want to lock that out. 2. Last 1. And release. All right, let's switch that to the other side. So I'm going to hold on over here. Once again, it could be a chair, anything nearby. Leaning into it just a little bit. Reach out through the toe of what it will be your right foot. So if I'm holding here, you reach. And then exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Deep breath. Reach it out. Exhale. Make sure you get that little crunch there in the center. Exhale it out. Good. You want a nice little pause right here to crunch. Okay, last 4. 3. 2. Last 1. And release it. Very good. All right. Awesome work. set that down if you like. We're gonna come all the way over to the end of your mat, lowering down into a little squat and walking yourself forward. So as you walk yourself forward, go ahead and come on down to a elbow plank, so low plank on the elbows, shoulders pulled back and down. You could stay here and bring the knees closer together and just do a little hip dip side to side, or we can straighten those legs out, moving into full plank, shoulders pulled back, scoop the belly, and here we go. Side to side hip dip, front low plank. So watch your shoulders, make sure you're staying really anchored in your upper body. We'll do 2 full rounds of 8. So we've got about 4 more on this first set for a 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful work. Set those hips down. Lift the chest up. Get a release here. A little Sphinx. And then bring it back down. Bend the knees. Let the knees drop side to side. And then back to center. All right. Go ahead and come up into seated. All the way up. Press it back first. Just find your way through a nice transition here. And then as you're ready, seated into mermaid. Yay! We made it to mermaid! Alright, that right leg goes back, left leg is forward, unless it bothers your knees. You do not have to go this wide. Sometimes just taking it into a little simple sit like this, little side sit, might be better. Okay? So decide what works for you. We're going to sweep that left arm up and over and stretch out all that side waist that we've been working. Bring it back up. Slowly bring it over onto that elbow, reach out. Give it a great twist here. Reach. Coming back up, inhale. Exhale, reach it over as far as you can. Really anchoring through the sit bones. Exhale, reach it out and twist. Inhale up. Exhale over. And last one. From here, sweep it forward to get that stretch deeper into that left hip. Come up. We'll switch sides. Find the position. Each side may be a little different. If you need to, make adjustments on this side. See if you can drop your left sit bone down further so that you're not leaning too much into the side. I want you to sit down into it. Not possible, then adjust your legs or place a blanket underneath your bum here. All right, so lifting your right arm and reach it over. And come all the way up, inhale. Exhale, sweeping and twist. Inhale up, exhale, reach. Inhale, sweep through center, very good. And give it a great twist over, and one more, inhale. Take some time to really reach into it. And last time to reach to the right. As you sweep around to the front. And coming back up, just coming into seated, cross-leg position. Let's take a twist over to your left, crossing over with the right hand. Back around, over to the right. Back to center. Sweep the arms up and bring it all right down to your Pilates Rockstar Center. Give yourself a great little bow. And remember that you showed up for yourself today, so you can continue to show up for others.